Barry, will you any changes?
Would
Barry, will you any changes in the name thing? As per the Grant Hunter.
brilliant, brilliant. Yeah.
It seems to be.
Yep. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome along to Park Wirra in Scotstown for this eagerly awaited championship match between Scotstown, the hosts, and close neighbours Gale True. I'm co-joined on the microphone here by Paddy Flood, well-known Truth man, Truth Gale. And I suppose, Paddy, the first thing I'm going to bring to your attention is your roots from Tidavenant Parish. So, you can't be all against now the day.
Well, no, I think we're both Frankies spread across both parishes, anywhere between Ashton, Laughlin, Fagullia, where DNA everywhere.
Yeah, so an interesting prospect in store this evening, Paddy. We believe there's a few changes maybe on the Scotstown line out where we're just going to be handed the teams now very shortly, but hopefully they're going to line out as per numbers and we can bring any changes that that may happen before the throw in. If we get them, we'll get them up to you as quick as we can.
Yeah,
So,
Frankie, it's an odd sort of event, like, in anybody's terms, because, like, never did we see a championship match with so few spectators as we have here in Scotstown this evening. A lot of people, as we say, all over the world tuning in for a championship match, streamed live, of course. And it's one thing, I suppose, that both clubs are working with trepidation. The very big panels, lots of players available to them, and hopefully we'll have a. The rain seems to have gone away, so maybe that'll lead
yeah,
to a better evening.
hopefully it'll still be slippery conditions on the ball and underfoot and that, but hopefully the rain will stay away now. It looks to be brightening out towards Knockatall and out to God's country there, so hopefully it'll the gods will be looking down on us and that we can have a good evening, both weather-wise and a good entertaining game here. It's always a close tussle between these neighbouring clubs in championship. In fact, if we look back to last year's match in Clontibber that actually ended in a draw, like there wasn't an awful lot between the two teams that day, Paddy.
Well, it's true. People don't look back with any great fondness to that in the end, but I suppose you are right. Very hard to gauge, of course, because Scotstown came so close last year, only to fall at the final hurdle. Through haven't made that breakthrough now in a number of years at senior level, and there is a hunger there to do better. And of course, the format for the championship this year, I suppose it changes somewhat the campaign ahead for both teams, in that you're going to have a number of games, panels will have to be used, and things like injuries, etc. As the championship goes on, is going to be really, really important.
Yeah, it's going to be a trying time on the panels, and I suppose that'll be the the benefit of having big panels where it'll really come into effect this year, as you say, with games coming thick and fast, games every year, every week rather. That it's going to be tough on players, keeping injury free and keeping on top of their game.
Absolutely. Um, it just looks, I suppose, that the atmosphere hasn't quite got up to the intensity and the build up that you would normally expect just yet for a championship match, and even in the warm ups here, etc. Hopefully, when the whistle blowing and the ball is in, we will get the intensity that we're all looking forward to here. Real championship football uh, here in Scotstown, and of course, very, very unusual for teams, for Scotstown even to be hosting a championship match
That's
at
that's
home.
correct. That's
First time
correct.
ever, I imagine. So
It's the last time Scotstown would have had a championship match in Park Wirra was, you're going back to 1992 when they played Armagh Harps, and Ger Houlihan was a Armagh county player, and he was a big handful here at this pitch. That was the last time there was championship
I think
football
I
played
remember
here.
being here for that, Frankie.
Yeah, yeah.
Never confess to those sorts of things at this point in life.
I remember being told about it, Paddy. I just heard it. uh, so Seamus McIlwain's just on the mic here, so you may be able to pick him up on the background. He's going to name out the team, so I'm going to be quiet. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so there's 5 changes there on the Scotstown lineup. We'll come back to them in a wee second. Keelan McGee starting in goals for True. Number 2 is Owen Kelly. Number 3, Niall McQuillan. And number 4 is Cian Maguire. Number 5 is James McKenna. Number 6 is Cormac McKenna. Number 7 is Aaron Mohan. In the middle of the field is number 8, Porrick Trainer. Number 9 is Niall Rooney. Number 10 is John McCarn, who's the captain of the True team. Number 11 is Christopher McAnally. Number 12 is Ryan Mohan. Number 13 is Christopher McKenna. Number 14 is Adam Trainer. And number 15 is Gary Mohan. I'll just maybe try and... Yeah. Shane McKenna will be wearing the number 16 jersey for True. And Rory Trainer will be replacing number 20, Christopher Flood. So the changes on the Scotstown team, Scotstown are going to line out with Rory Beggan in goals, Jack McDevitt, Damien McCardle and Michael Meehan. The half-back line will be Paul Sherlock, Donal Morgan and Shawnee Mohan. In the middle of the field is Darren Hughes and Ryan O'Toole, Shane Carey, Brenton Boylan and James Hamill. And in the full forward line is Conor McCarthy, Gavin McPhillips and Matthew Maguire. So a few changes there in the Scotstown lads. Paddy just seemed to feel the need for a few changes.
Yeah, True lining out pretty much as intended. All eyes in True will be on Cian Maguire. Brought in last year's minor panel, under 17 panel, is now being named at cornerback for this championship match. A big starting point for his senior competitive debut.
Okay. So the Scotstown team warming up a bit there now, and we're just seeing what they're at there. I think they're getting ready for a sprint down here. True, getting into a huddle here. We're just watching back here on our laptop to see what's going on here. The 5 changes to the Scotstown team. I'll just go through them again here. Rory Beggan starting in goals. Number 2 is Jack McDevitt. Number 15, Damien McCardle, is lining out at full back. And number 26, Michael Meehan, comes in at cornerback for Mark Duffy. Half-back line is Paul Sherlock. Number 5, and centre half-back will be number 12, Donal Morgan. And a change then again at left half-back, number 25, Shawnee Mohan, comes in for Jamie McCary. In the middle of the field is Darren Hughes, who's partnered by Ryan O'Toole. So the half-forward line is Shane Carey. Centre half forward is Brenton Boylan. And right half forward is number 23, James Hamill. Conor McCarthy lines out at corner forward. Another change in the full forward line, Gavin McPhillips, wearing number 21, will be playing at full forward. And there's another change in the corner forward, Matthew Maguire, number 24, comes in at corner forward. So subs making their way off the pitch. Truth lads coming in behind us, underneath us here rather. So we're just awaiting the appearance on the referee, and here he comes, Martin McNally from the Cardiff Club. Joined the National League panel of referees in 2014, and his first inter-county championship match came in the 2018 Leinster Championship campaign in the first round match between Wexford and Laois, which Laois went on to win. His first county final was in 2013 in the county final in Clonus between Scotstown and Clontibret. So that's the first whistle we've heard. He's calling in the captains. And hopefully you're enjoying it. The stream so far, wherever you are. I want to give a couple of shout outs to boys that's watching far away from us. And first on that list is Noel McGinty watching in Ottawa, Canada. We also have Paddy Carroll tuned in Sydney, Australia. And we have, of course, other people in Chicago, Ripon in California, and in New York also. So good evening from Scotstown and good morning in some parts of the world. We hope you're going to tune into a nice lively game. The first streamed match between Scotstown and Truagh. So Katrina Sherlock getting ready to sing the national anthem for us. We hope you're able to pick it up. So the national anthem sang by Katrina Sherlock from the Scotstown Club.
Big credit to both clubs in Scotstown in particular here, Frankie. Organisations with the COVID, etc., exactly run off as planned. If anybody thought that there was people creeping in through holes in the hedge or something like that, it hasn't happened. Very, very small crowd over the far side of the field, as you can see in the cameras. And all the arrangements, COVID compliant, from we entered the grounds to now, has to be like that. And yeah, credit to both clubs, and in particular the host club here, for how it has been organised and laid out.
Yeah, well, indeed, great thanks to the general public, for staying away, for making it possible for these events to run off so smoothly, and that they're so compliant. I think great credit's due to the GAA family for complying with this, and really and truly, you'd have to take your hat off to the GAA over the whole COVID thing, for their leadership and help that they've given to the communities through the lockdown, and even when they're coming to attending games and things.
I suppose the big change here, notice Frankie Scott has brought back David right out to the centre of the field, where he will partner Darren Hughes.
Gives on. Martin McNally throws the ball in, and the first break of the ball comes to Truagh. The ball played out to the wing here. John McCarn on the ball, feeds it in towards his forward line. Ryan Mohan moving well so far. Cormac McKenna on the ball, lays it off. Crossfield ball towards number 5, and that's the first we've heard of the whistle for the attacking mark. And a great score for Truagh. James McKenna, what can you tell us about James, Paddy?
Well, that's the McKenna brothers in action there, in immediate impact in the half back line. Cormac winning the ball there, and James, he had a good 30 yards well out to the right, and a very sweet shot and over the bar. It'll build up the confidence of the young players to see that happening. A good start for James.
Good start for Truagh, and Rory Beggan taking the kick out, found Jack McDevitt, who let the ball into Shane Carey. It's hard to tell these lads apart now with all the county boys I think he might have got away with 2 bounces there, but It's hard to tell these county boys apart now with all this, the fundraising they were doing with all the blonde heads. There's a troop man down injured on the far side, so the referee's going to hold up the game.
Yeah, all kinds of hair and none in some of our cases here. Frankly, it's the story. And yeah, Scotstown very quick to just ease back into the equalising point there. To have a man down, is it Kane? It could be Kane, as I say, the youngest member of the panel and a member of last year's County Under 17 team. Hasn't tasted senior football up to now in competitive matches, so this is a big game for Kane.
It's a big game for any young lad coming into the first team, the senior team, and you know, especially a championship match against your close neighbours and rivals.
Very nice for the first team for Scotstown. The young player there, Gavin McPhillips, in the height of Mina on the square, and you can mark Niall McQuillan again. He's getting his chance. Throw her back to the full 15. He's ready to go again.
Good kick out from Caelan McGee, getting plenty of distance out to the middle of the field. The ball breaking loose and is picked up by Christopher McAnanley. Lays it off to the far side. Ryan O'Toole tackling. Ball comes back out to Porrick Trainer. Porrick under pressure from Conor McCarthy. Does well to get the ball back out. And through emerge again with the ball, and it's number 13, Christopher McKenna. The ball played back out to Cormac McKenna. And out to James McKenna again. Of course, James got that opening point for through. Turns inside, trying to get the better of James Hamill. Gets inside him. Swallowed up by a host of blue jerseys, and the ball's touched on the ground and is free out to Scotstown. Taken quickly back towards Rory Began. Truth just getting swallowed up a wee bit there, Paddy.
I think they went into the crown of thorns there. James had the eyes were bigger than the body as he attempted to go through the Scotstown backline there.
Paul Sherlock, hand to toe down in front of us here, down in front of the camera, releasing the ball to Michael Meehan. Michael is Shawnee Mohan and Ryan O'Toole. And James Hamill, affectionately known as Herbie in these parts. Michael Meehan playing the ball back towards Jack McDevitt. Jack's around the centre of the field, looks up. There's a run from Donal Morgan. Donal's on the 45. Darren Hughes to Conor McCarthy. Jinks inside. Kind of bought that free a wee bit, you know. Yes, he drew the foul. That's exactly the term I was looking for, Paddy. Yeah.
He drew the foul there, and probably a soft knock for you. The one Kenny it was who was coming in there, and
Rory Began making the journey up. Yep. So I just want to give a shout out also to everybody watching in Harvey's Pint House in Ballinode. Colin was offering a donation of a free pint to Rory for every pint he scored from a 45. And he's a pint down already. So Rory was very quick to point out to him that in last year's championship match he scored 5 pints from 45, so I'd say Colin will be regretting saying that. Back to the action, and Caelan McGee gets a good kick out, but Darren Hughes fists it down to Conor McCarthy. Conor McCarthy takes a return ball again from Shane Carey, swings his left foot at it, and it's a nice score.
Shane Carey just judged it beautifully there, left foot, and they pegged it beautifully over the bar.
Scotstown ahead by 3 points to 1. Unfortunately, we just haven't got to terms with the live scoreboard graphic, but we're hoping that as the championship progresses, that maybe we'll be able to add that to it. The ball kicked out by Caelan McGee again. Ryan O'Toole goes up and breaks it. Shawnee Mohan, Michael Meehan it was, in fact, contesting that ball, and it breaks down to Donal Morgan. Has a bit of space in front of him. It's been closed down now by Christopher McKenna, but gets the ball in towards Matty Maguire. Matty turns on his right foot, and a good score again on the turn over the shoulder by young Matty Maguire.
Yeah, Matty breaking loose, sold the dummy kind of thing, and got loose into no man's land. And, but again, high quality pass into him made all the difference there, and left him with maybe less to do than would be expected. The quality of the pass superb.
Yep. So the restart coming again here from Caelan McGee. Darren Hughes collects, chooses not to take the mark, loses the ball but keeps possession. Bit of retaliation from Truth there, and Martin McNally, stamping his authority on the game early on, brings the ball in. Darren Hughes probably lucky enough not to have been overblown for steps there. But however, Shane Carey on the ball. Shane Carey to tap on that free over, and probably again a gift, Paddy, whenever with the retaliation, or not the retaliation, but the giving out to the ref, got the ball brought in really there.
Yeah, this is a gift that Truth can't afford really in a game like this here. It's championship football. They're slipping point by point ahead or behind at a very, very early stage. And Scotstown so comfortable at the moment, and particularly winning ball around the middle of the field at will.
Keelan McGee again with a kick out towards the sideline, and the mark taken, quickly played. A referee blows for a free. So a few minor sound adjustments here going on. But through on the far side of the field, it's number 7, Aaron Mohan on the ball. Coming up to support him is Porrick Trainer. A bit of pulling or holding going on inside, and referee Martin McNally has awarded a free in from the 13-metre line to through.
Yeah, I think Martin very keen to put his stamp on this game very early on, as you said, and again, eyes in the back of his head that time to identify a little tug. And it will be Christopher McKenna, I suppose known around Kilnagullion as Snoozy, who's going to get the first go of this one here, I think.
Christopher steps up with a left-footed kick, strokes it effortlessly over the bar, and that brings the score to 5 points to 2 in favour of Scotstown. Rory Began with a low projectile, and the great fast ball played in to Christopher McAnanley, and easily beats Rory Began in the goals, and that's a great boost for True, Paddy.
And that's a real gift there for True. I suppose Rory's kick out, it was misjudged. Adam Trainer was quick to get it, and he got a lovely ball into Christopher McAnanley. But fair play to Christopher McAnanley, he kept calm, calculated, and he picked the spot beautifully to the corner of the net.
Yep, beautifully taken score, and Rory going higher with this one. And the flick on's picked up by Conor McCarthy, and the ball's quickly laid off to Brenton Boylan, but Matty Maguire loses possession. True will have their tails up now with getting back into the game with that goal. It's Aaron Mohan, heavy challenge on Aaron, but he does well, takes it well, and the free kick awarded. Ball taken over to this side of the field, and Conor McCarthy gets a benefit there. Plays the ball in towards Gavin McPhillips. John McCarn with the ball, plays it back to Keelan McGee, and True worked that ball out well, and they're moving on the attack, getting it out of their defence. The ball played up to Christopher McAnanley. The ball played into the middle of the field. Good support play here from True, and the early ball in towards Gary Mohan. Strange to see the two number 15s marking each other up there, Paddy in the corner.
Yeah, well, we'll be used to numbers about the place, but yeah, quite a tussle. Gary, a big lad there.
So Ryan O'Toole winning a free there, kicks it back to Rory Began, who switches the play right over to this side towards Paul Sherlock. Paul Sherlock comes soloing up, plenty of space in front of him, comes carrying the ball. Lays it off to Brenton Boylan. Brenton Boylan back to Michael Meehan. Michael Meehan towards the centre to Darren Hughes. Darren Hughes plays the ball out to Jack McDevitt. Still in the middle third of the field here. We're around the halfway line, and Jack McDevitt up to the 45. And the ball being played forward towards Shane Carey. Shane lays it off to Conor McCarthy. Conor steps in on his favourite left foot. Has a look at the post to see where they are. And the ball just drops to the left-hand side of the post and wide. So 5 points to Scotstown, a goal and 2 points to Truagh. And it's all to play for now, Paddy.
Yeah, well, a matter of a minute there totally changed the early part of this game here. It looked as though Scotland were dominating, that they were comfortable, and then just maybe a little error or two, and again an error there from Truagh in the kick out. Those errors can be very, very costly, and Shane Carey is going to exact that cost from the Truagh kick out, putting Scotstown back into the lead.
The importance of the kick out, Paddy, in the modern game has, it's become an essential weapon, as it were, in teams' armour, and that's we've seen it twice now, how the slightest error in the restart can be
Well, I
punished.
suppose you're depending on the players in a wet evening like this. There's going to be slippage, people going for balls and not quite making it. So that's all part of what we can expect.
Darren Hughes fielding well. Shawnee Mohan on the ball, fisted out towards Ryan O'Toole. It's a loose enough pass, but he gathers it well. And it's number 26, Michael Meehan, on the far side. Plays it off to Shane Carey. Shane has a look round him. Tries to stride forward, plays it back towards Conor McCarthy, and Conor McCarthy looking for a bit of support. Plays it to Brenton Bylan. Back to Michael Meehan. And Shane Carey on the ball. Scotstown not making any great direction, but they're patient enough in their build-up. They're happy enough to have the bit of possession at the moment, and I suppose it's all about possession, really, the modern game, Paddy.
Yeah, well, it's sort of Harlem Globetrotter style there. I suppose the ball being moved around, but also the extent to which teams are very patient, as you say. Really Truagh sitting way deep and trying to draw maybe Scotstown into committing the ball that they can win it back. Gavin McPhillips, his first chance of the game, and he kicks off it to the left and wide.
Yeah, it's all about being patient and getting the ball onto the shooter. And this time round, Gavin McPhillips just pulling the ball wide. So short kick out this time. And through come up towards the 45. Cormac McKenna playing the ball off to Porrick Traynor. Porrick has soldiered many's a day for Truagh, Paddy.
Yeah, Porrick, a very, very experienced player, was abroad for a little bit of last year. Great to have him back in the team from a Truagh perspective. Of course, the man who captained Truagh to All-Ireland intermediate glory back a number of years ago, and that sort of confidence still with some of the senior players in this particular squad.
Yes, it's hard to beat the bit of experience, and as you say, Porrick has plenty of that. As you say, even from time representation on the county team, it all that helps and helps develop the younger players. The ball being pulled back here for a free to Truagh. No advantage shown, so we're going back to take the free.
Christopher McKenna taking here, it'd be within Christopher's, just the very outside of Christopher's range, if you like, probably 55 metres out, somewhat to the right of the post from where he kicks it.
That's a beautiful strike, but it just pulls slightly to the right and wide.
She was heading to the bunker from day one there, I think,
So it's Rory Beggan with the restart now for Scotstown. Plenty of movement out in front of us. Rory in no hurry to start, so he takes it out towards Michael Meehan. Plays it back to Shawnee Mohan. Shawnee, a load of space in the middle of the field, plays it out towards Jack McDevitt. That's actually Damien McCardle on the ball. Jack McDevitt on the ball now. Carrying the ball forward towards middle of the field. The support play comes from Michael Meehan. Back to Jack McDevitt. Across the field, a fisted pass to Shawnee Mohan, and Scotstown happy enough to keep possession in the middle of the field here. And Truagh quite content to sit back and invite them on as it were, Paddy.
Yeah, from a spectator, this is a very pedestrian stuff, I suppose. Players just say deep. Darren Hughes in possession now, a player that does move with intent when he gets the ball and sort of opens up space. Tries again, gets it into O'Toole. O'Toole's right out in the corner. Aaron Moans close attention, but fine works by Red O'Toole. eventually drawing the foul, and
A bit of a reaction from Ryan O'Toole there, though. Yeah,
reaction,
yeah.
and the referee McNally's going to have to make assessments as to why he progresses from here.
Yeah.
In relation to that. Yellow card was given
Yellow
to the third
card.
player. And that's John McCarran picking up the yellow card.
And there we go. That's the whistle for the water break. So we're probably 15 minutes into this game, and it's Scotstown who lead by 6 points to a goal and 2 to Truagh. And entertaining enough start, Paddy, but as you mentioned there, it kind of went a wee bit pedestrian. Scotstown not bringing the intensity to their attack that, Truagh were maybe a wee bit more direct with their attack and play, and they're happy enough to sit back and invite Scotstown on them and try and invite them in and break down the play then.
I suppose to go in for the wee drop of Ishka, only a point down from the Truth's perspective, it's heartening from their perspective here, because they were drifting right out of the game after 10 minutes, and Scotstown were scoring points at will. And if that had continued, we would have had a poor game here this evening. Just within the space of a minute, a quick turnaround there, little eye of the ball or two, and all of a sudden we were back on terms again. And it's now, I suppose, both teams have a wee chance to make assessments. Certainly one thing I think from this game's perspective, Darren Hughes is having a very strong influence on the game, as one would expect. And that's something that probably will exercise through minds over the next little while.
Yeah, Darren, he's all action. Really, he doesn't really know how to play the game at a walking pace. He's always intent on driving forward and driving his team forward, and he's been a great leader for Scotstown through the years, and indeed to Monaghan County as well.
Yeah, his timing is perfect as well. Like, he's positioning for kickouts, and the timing of the execution of passes again, drawing the player and just passing at the last minute. It's probably one of the highlights of the game so far. Apart from that Christopher McEnany goal, Christopher, he was in space. It was 1-1, but it's 1-1 with probably the best goalkeeper in Ireland, and he was really calm in terms of how he approached the shot, and again, really getting a clear, concise shot to the back of the net.
Yeah, really, it was a good finish now, in fairness, from Christopher. John McCarran just receiving a wee bit of attention. It was John McCarran that was booked down in the corner there, Paddy, was it, at that stage?
I've been looking at it was John.
I think it was. So, Keelan McGee with a restart again. Ryan O'Toole rising onto this one. The ball breaks over him. It's picked up by Damien McArdle under close scrutiny. Gets the ball away to Ryan O'Toole, who feeds it into Gavin McPhillips. Returns the ball to Ryan O'Toole. Ryan trying to break a couple of tackles. And it's James Hamill on the ball. The tackles it's not for the faint-hearted over there at the minute.
Through getting in the tackles there, Scotstown were moving forward inside the 45-metre line, but start defending there by the true half-back line for a little while.
Yeah, they stood tall when needed. And Brenton Boylan picks up the ball on the far side of the pitch, looking for a bit of support. Ryan O'Toole offers that support, and Paul Sherlock coming back. Plays it out to Shawnee Mohan. Shawnee going back into the middle again to Donal Morgan. Jack McDevitt on the ball. Takes a solo. Has a look up. Plays the ball to Matty Maguire. Good ball into Gavin McPhillips. Gavin turns and hits the ball with his left foot. Probably not his favourite foot, but it's a good score from the young lad on his championship debut.
Yeah, Gavin did well. It's slippy, and for a big lad, he turned with ease there. And again, I suppose once he got turned, I think the shot was very much on for Gavin, and that will certainly give him big confidence in this match, extending and doubling the Scotstown lead.
So Scotstown leading by 7 points to a goal and 2 points for Truagh. The sun just in Keelan McGee's eyes here, holding his hand over his eyes to get a good look up the pitch to see who's available. Plays the ball out towards the complex side here, and the mark taken by the Truagh player.
Yeah, Keelan McGee, last couple of kickouts there, excellent in finding his man. Both sides of the wing half backs. Aaron Moan on that occasion. Earlier it was James McKenna, and setting up for the Truagh attack. Niall Rooney with the ball here, and yeah, the Truagh boys, I suppose, they're having almost a rare forage into the Scotstown 45 at the moment, in this, well, since the water break in particular. And Christopher McKenna sends the ball straight right in. Christopher's going to get another shot at this one here. It's the
That's
left foot. It's sweet and it's
It's
over
a
the bar.
brilliant effort. Brilliant effort. He played the 1-2 there, took the return, and effortlessly struck the ball over, probably from about 35 metres, Paddy.
Yeah, it's I suppose what you'd call Chrissy territory there, because that's where his favourite part of the field is, if you like, with that left foot. And lovely score by Christopher, keeping through in close contact.
So the ball played out.
Ball back in. Once again, it's Darren Hughes, the target man here.
Donald Morgan picking up the break. Rash enough sort of a challenge, and Martin McNally going to speak to the true centre half, Cormac McKenna. Probably no real need to, like, Donald Morgan's heading back towards his own goals, so probably no need for this rush, but maybe no harm just to let your opponent know that you're there too, Paddy.
I think Cormac was claiming a bit of territory there and doing so with a bit of style.
So a change in the Scotstown team. Jamie McCary coming in for number 23, Herbie Hamill. James Hamill making way for number 7, Jamie McCary. And Jamie's really got into the championship swing. We're getting the hair blue and white.
Yeah, it's sort of new for us to see.
Rory Began with the restart. Plays it out towards Brenton Bylan. Brenton Bylan into the centre to Damien McCardle. Damien looks up and getting support from Jack McDevitt. Jack plays the ball up towards Shane Carey, but it's well intercepted by Truagh. Truagh defender out well. That was young James McKenna. There's a dangerous ball across the line. Jamie McCary trying to get it. Oh. May have been a chance of a touch on the ground, but the referee waves play on, and we build again with Truagh. And Porrick Trainer gathering the ball, trying to break the tackle, loses the ball. Jack McDevitt picks it up, and his ball's played into Gavin McPhillips. And Gavin, soccer style, tries to get the ball past the advancing Caelan McGee, and really you'd have to give a lot of credit to Caelan McGee, how quickly he narrowed the angle, Paddy, there, and forced the play.
Yeah, Caelan spread himself very well there. The chips were down. Say it was a black cat territory on the double there for Truagh. First time round, what you don't do, playing the ball across our own defence, and in comes Scotstown to take advantage. Again, a bit of messy ball, and Caelan again spreading and just stopping the McPhillips goal.
So Truagh building again. Porrick Trainer on the ball, looks up for some support again. John McCarn on the ball, back to Porrick Trainer. Porrick Trainer taking the ball up on the far sideline, lays it off. Porrick Trainer back on the ball again. Seems to be everywhere at the minute. And it's young Gary Mohan on the ball here now. Plays the ball out to Niall Rooney. Niall thinking about a shot, but maybe he's not the shooter you need on the ball, Paddy.
Well, Niall very much a playmaker rather than the score taker, I suppose. Well able to have a go, but I suppose the tactics are very much to not take any chances with opportunities, and to find the likes of Christopher McKenna, or indeed Adam McKenna, who's on the ball now. Adam giving it away cheaply.
And the ball picked up by Shawnee Mohan. Plays it out to Donald Morgan. Donald switches the play out to Paul Sherlock. And Paul Sherlock with a load of green grass in front of him. Darren Hughes plays the ball back to Paul Sherlock, and just not a great pass from Darren. Wasn't one of his best passes, Paddy, and Truagh emerged with the ball again.
Yeah, it's a wet evening. I think Paul just probably in most terms would have got that ball, but again a slip up 1 foot, and down he went, and the ball broke loose for Truagh. Again, a little bit Scotstown for the first time in the match, sitting back a little bit themselves here, and the Truagh boys getting up. Gary Moan went up high for the ball. He's a big lad, just as Gavin McPhillips is on the other side in the full forward line. An awkward bunch to handle, those two boys. And in that case, Gary, if you like, got the foul. He was getting up high, and he was probably an easy target for the foul, but he had the ball, and he's going to take this himself. Gary
steadies himself, has a look at the post, and swings the right foot at it. And the umpire's reaching for the white flag, so that's a good score for Gary. And a draw game again, Paddy, and nothing in it.
Yeah, I suppose you could see that score coming for a little while there. Scotstown for the first time in the game, sitting back just that extra couple of yards and allowing the Truagh to set up a platform from which they could attack.
So Rory Beggan going long. The target, Gavin McPhillips, and he was adjudged to have been fouled, and he plays a long ball in towards Shane Carey. Shane gets a ball. The ball's in the net, but in fairness, the referee had pushed for a push by Shane Carey, and maybe, as I'd say, around this way, it might have been more of a shove than a push. But it's the same. It's the same foul, no matter what it is.
Around Carey Crow, I think it's a dunt.
So, Struth building again from the back. Owen Kelly coming up. Gary Mohan on the ball. Jamie McCary picks up the loose ball. Gavin McPhillips finds himself in different territory. He's down collecting the ball in his own full-back line. Rory Beggan playing the ball out towards Donal Morgan. Donal looks up for some support. Finds it in the shape of Jamie McCary, who plays it on to Jack McDavitt. Jack has a look up. And Jamie's on the ball again, plays it back to Jack McDavitt. Scotstown patient in the build-up around the middle of the field. Gaining no real territory, but I suppose possession is key at the moment. Michael Meehan carrying the ball forward. Plays it back to Donal Morgan. Donal looking for support from Conor McCarthy. Conor McCarthy plays it to Jamie McCary. Jamie looks forward, sees Michael Meehan. Michael comes in from the wing. And the ball's played back to Shawnee Mohan in the centre of the field. Shawnee, acres of space. Has a look at the posts. And that's a fabulous score, maybe from 40 yards or thereabouts, Paddy.
Yeah, that's the score. Just nudges Scotstown ahead from Shawnee Mohan. A goal and forward through 8 points now to Scotstown. And Shawnee, I suppose, he called the bluff of the Truagh defence, who were sitting back in their zones, and he shot from distance and put the ball very sweetly over the bar.
So, Truagh coming again. Cormac McKenna on the ball. Plenty of room in front of him. Conor McCarthy trying to get a hand on him. Failing to do so, and it's Porrick Trainer on the ball again. Switches the play out to the far side of the field. To his midfield partner, Niall Rooney. Niall lets the ball in long towards Gary Mohan. Gary turns out on his favourite right foot, has a look at the posts, and that's a terrific score from Gary Mohan.
Yeah, that's Gary written all over it. He just absolutely loves taking on his man. He was in a terrible position, really, right out near the corner, but again, he knew exactly the amount of space that he needed to make, and just able to bring back Truagh on terms now, 8 points to the goal and 5.
Nothing in this game at the moment. Jack McDavitt laying it off to Paul Sherlock. Inside to Donal Morgan. Donal has a bit of space, has a look up, carries the ball on. Looking for a bit of support. We thought about the shot with his left foot, but stepped back again. And Ryan O'Toole getting away with a lot of steps. And yes, the ref correctly blowing Ryan O'Toole for over carrying the ball.
Yeah, you can see Scotstown boys sort of feeling to see could they ever go there. Shawnee Mohan has emboldened them with that last point of his from a distance, but ultimately they just pull back, and leaves McInerney to pick up the pace again for Truagh. It's O'Toole that's following him down, and just that sense of organisation back into both teams as Truagh press forward.
So it's Christopher McKenna on the ball. Back to Gary Mohan, at good distance from the goals, Gary. And now it's Christopher McAnally on the ball. Takes a return from Porrick Trainer. And the ball played low inside.
James McKenna here.
James McKenna evading the run of Shane Carey, but Shane Carey recovers well. Just an untimely slip by James, and lets Scotstown gather possession again, and it's Donal Morgan coming out with the ball. Soloing out towards the camera here. Fists it back inside towards Jack McDavitt, and Shane Carey out to the wing here to Paul Sherlock. Paul Sherlock soloing forward. Jamie McCary carrying the ball in towards the middle, and Jack McDavitt offering a bit of support. Not a lot of movement inside for Scotstown, so they're happy to play it along here. And the ball switched out to Michael Meehan on the far side. Darren Hughes coming in from the touchline, takes the ball off Michael Meehan. Loose with his solo and gets away with it there, but Shane Carey's on the ball, thinks about a shot, plays it off to Michael Meehan. Michael Meehan draws the foul, and it's a chance for Conor McCarthy to stroke this over with his left foot.
Yeah, no argument that time from True. It was Niall Rooney committing a foul. He gets the yellow card for that, and that's the second yellow of the game. And I suppose just that needed to take care.
Yeah, it could be considered a harsh enough yellow that there didn't seem to be an awful lot in it. Whether he had a foul before that warranted the extra mark in the foul, but Conor McCarthy stroking that one over the bar nicely, and that leaves the score 9 points to Scotstown to Truth's 1-5, just a point in it. And Keelan McGee getting ready to restart. Sun shines out, Paddy.
Yeah, sun shines out, but I wouldn't trust it for 10 minutes. It's really too hot to be too good. Too good.
So Keelan McGee with a high ball out to the middle of the field, and the Truth catch it uncontested. And it's Christopher McKenna plays the ball out to Niall Rooney, and Niall's looking for the run of Adam Traynor inside. Adam gets the ball up, plays it all the way back out to James McKenna. James looks to set up an attack. Fancies a go himself. Just tails off to the right. Maybe that's why he's number 5 on his back. Would he, James, or does he?
James is probably a player that's used to playing in both backs and forwards. Full of confidence after that first point of the game, but on that particular occasion, it was a good distance to the right. And that brings us to the end of the half, Frankie, here. And for the viewers at home, I suppose one of the striking features, I think, of the half is a lot of the intensity of the running was in getting back rather than getting forward in many aspects. But a very entertaining game of football in relatively slippy conditions, and very, very little between the sides as they head into half time.
Nothing between the teams. So it's a half-time score. Scotstown 9 points, and it's through a goal and 5. And we're going to take a break for a couple of minutes. So we'll be back with you and bring you maybe a wee bit of analysis and the second half action very shortly. We're back in action here again in Scotstown for the start of the second half in this championship. Champions League style, I suppose, Paddy, you'd call it. Is it a unique enough format, and is it something you think will catch on, maybe?
Sure, unique's no word for it. I think, Frankie, like, when you think about it, like, we probably have a couple of hundred people here at the match, a couple of thousand and more watching from all corners of the world, like, and you can see the names there of those that have subscribed. They're lads that I would have more associated with the Linkbox and Dropbox up to now, and they're online, COVID has changed the world, obviously, for in a negative way in many ways, but gosh almighty, the fact that we have so many people from all over the world here joining in from Scotstown for what is a very entertaining game given the sort of slippy conditions. But thankfully, the rain has held back. There's been little or no wind throughout the first half there, and as such, we're well teed up for a good second half, I think.
Yes, I suppose a couple of things to pick up on maybe from the first half. The standout moment probably was the goal from Truagh. Maybe you could relive that for us, Paddy.
Yeah, well, that was a very important moment, I suppose. Rory maybe had an uncustomary kick out, and then it went straight to Adam Traynor just about 45 metres out. Adam was very quick to point, and Christopher McInerney got into space. He got the ball in direct. It was a one-on-one literally with the goalie. But a lot of players don't fancy themselves 1-1 with Rory, but and Rory did spread himself well. But young McInerney was as cool as a cucumber and took a score well. And it was really the score that has made the match so far, because up to that point, Truagh were lagging and struggling. And all of a sudden, we were back on terms as a club. And that made a big difference and has given us something to really look forward to here now in the second half.
And of course, the referee awaiting the Scotstown team to come in. We're just zooming in on. Just can't see that the writing on above the stand, but it's a new unique way of watching a match. It seems to be is that Pádraig Morgan and Big Marty Quinn that are up in the crow's nest above the stand, Paddy.
Yeah, for anybody watching at home, the attendance has gone up 1% from 200 to 202, courtesy of the hoist. Now, I expected as a case or two watching out from the trees, but I didn't expect to see the hoist arrive for the second half.
Very, very unique, and I think Monaghan Plant Hire and KR Plant Hire are going to be under severe pressure for supplying crow's nests and cherry pickers for the next games. So we're underway again here, and free into Truagh. Scotstown over carrying the ball, and the ball's played in quickly towards Gary Mohan. Well fielded by Gary. And that's a fine effort by Niall Rooney there with that point, Paddy.
Yeah, I think Niall, we were commenting, was a wee bit shy in the first half about taking a shot. Not at all in that half, in that occasion. And really a great point to start the second half from Truagh. Shane Carey getting up really well for the ball here. He's a bit of a handful for the Truagh lads right now and sends it in beautifully to the corner.
So it's Matthew Maguire taking on his marker, Cian Maguire. Oh, and maybe a hand trip there, and Cian Maguire may be in trouble. Martin McNally definitely want to speak to him, but we'll see what the punishment is going to be.
Yeah, Cian had a fine game up to now, and I suppose he felt that he had to do something there. As Maguire was making progress, he lucky to escape a card by the looks of things. I'm sure he got a word or two there, and this is the chance now for Scotstown to come back again and to nudge that little point ahead again. And McCarthy, of course, trusted boot and over the bar.
Yes, another fine score by Conor McCarthy, but you'd be expecting a man of his capabilities to be swinging that over. And with just over a minute and a half gone in the second half, it's Scotstown who lead by 10 points to 1-6, and Truagh building from the back again. And here they come. Cormac McKenna laying the ball off, taking the return. Pádraig Traynor on the ball now. Has a look up, spots a man free on the far side, on the near side here, and it's a great switch of play towards Niall Rooney, who got that fine point at the start of the second half. Plays the ball into Gary Mohan. Gary looking to turn Damien McArdle again. Damien getting in closer this time and forces the block. But James McKenna swings the right foot again, and he scored a good point at the start of the first half, and he's done it again in this half, Paddy.
Yeah, the tails are up at the moment here. again, Niall Rooney, it was, sort of picked out the nice pass into Gary Mohan. And Gary, just that sense of calmness and sidestep that draws men out and created a little bit of space. James had it all to do. It was a 50-50 there, and he turned and took a shot very nicely to bring the Truagh lads back in terms. Scotstown it is now coming forward.
So Shawnee Mohan on the ball. Plays it infield towards Jack McDevitt. Conor McCarthy looks for Paul Sherlock. Almost runs into his player again. Shawnee Mohan offers up the support. Carries the ball over towards the near side here. And Matty Maguire. Matty having a good, decent enough game for a young lad in his first championship year again. And ball switched over by Damien McCardle over to Michael Meehan. Michael plays it into Shane Carey. Wins the ball well out in front. Under close scrutiny, gets the ball played back to Paul Sherlock. Paul Sherlock looking towards Darren Hughes. Darren setting it off. Jamie McCary on the ball now. Back to Paul Sherlock. Once again, back to Jamie. Plays the ball off to Darren Hughes. Darren has a look at the post. Decides to go in a bit closer, but a loose pass from Darren, and it's Truagh who emerged with the ball again. A bit of a coming together there between one of the Scotstown players and one of the Truagh players. I think it was Jamie McCary, and I'm not sure which of the Truagh lads, Ryan Mohan. Ryan sufficiently recovered to retrieve the ball and set up the play again, and it's James McKenna in acres of space here on this side, and James hand to toe. Certainly knows where the posts are. He has a look at them again, and another fine score from James.
James is absolutely on fire here, Frankie. That's his third point of the game, and the sort of speed again down this left flank, if you like, and taking the point beautifully. His third of the game, and James will certainly be a mark man, I think, from here to the end of the game.
Certainly going to retrieve or expect a bit more attention from the Scotstown players, and it's Truagh who lead by a point. It's 1-8 to 10 points, and Scotstown building again. Damien McCardle to Paul Sherlock, and into Ross McKenna. Seems to have come into the play there. I didn't see who went off. We're going to hear now from, instead of Shawnee Mohan, see Shawnee on the sideline here, and Shawnee, after scoring a good point, he may be disappointed with coming off so early, Paddy.
Yeah, Shawnee was very industrious. Didn't put a foot wrong recently, I suppose, but Scotstown probably maybe trying to inject a little bit more into the attack now. And I suppose certainly the experience of a player like Ross coming in. Again, he has played championship football now for a number of years, and that's a great addition to be able to bring into your team. Again, the breaking ball, it's happening every kick out almost here. There's a lot of slapping and fisting going on, but Scotstown setting up an endless number of attacks here, and are coming forward with the same intent as they did before.
So Donald Morgan plays it over towards Brenton Bynum. Donald about to take the return pass off to Darren Hughes. Darren Hughes looking for a way through the Truagh, and making a good run through. Darren, he's in a fine run here. He's going the whole way through, and probably could be classed as a cynical foul, but an essential one, Paddy, really and truly.
Well, that was taking one for the team, I suppose. Niall McQuillan on that occasion. Darren doing, I suppose, what Scotstown have been a little bit frustrated by in the last 10 minutes. And it's a black card for Niall on that occasion. Darren was going through at will, carving right through the Truagh defence rather. And up to that, there was a number of attacks there where Scotstown were frustrated by the organisation and discipline in that half-back line by Truagh. And Conor McCarthy, again, getting Scotstown back into the match again here. And look, it's anybody's game here. It's all to play for. Very, very, very close. And scores rotating all of the time. A goal and 8 it is to Truagh. 11 points to Scotstown.
So Caelan McGee restarting the game. Referee bringing the ball up. I suppose the mark was called there and the Scotstown boys didn't move away from it, so through giving them a bit of advantage, and the ball played out towards Porrick Trainer. And Porrick sets it up to Cormac McKenna, receives the turn back. Played in towards Gary Mohan, trying to get in behind Damien McCardle. And the ball is run out over the end line, and it's a goal kick. And Rory Began just slowing the play up a wee bit to get the second ball off the pitch. Sun in the Scotstown defence for this half. Strong enough sun coming down there, so it'll be awkward enough. Ryan O'Toole totally unmarked in the middle of the field, and Rory picks him out well. Plays the ball up towards Shane Carey. Shane taking on his man, and I suppose Scotstown will be looking to take advantage of the extra man for the next 10 minutes or so. But through standing tall and standing firm and bring the ball back out. And it's Adam Trainer on the ball. Plays a long ball down towards Gary Mohan, but not giving Gary any sort of a chance with that ball, and Scotstown come out with the ball again. Ryan O'Toole playing it out towards Jack McDevitt. Jack McDevitt looking at Brenton Byron, cuts in from the sideline, plays the ball in to Damien McCardle, spreads the play back towards Michael Meehan, and Michael looking for Darren Hughes. Darren had that exceptional run through defence a few moments ago that drew the black card for Niall McQuillan. Conor McCarthy. Easy enough free, and the descent, I suppose, from through again, Paddy, has cost them that few extra yards, and you'd be thinking that Shane Carey is going to be capable of putting this one over.
Yeah, a critical time in the game to hold the discipline for True. They're momentarily down to the 14, and already you could see little gaps, particularly from the kickouts. Ryan O'Toole getting a relatively free ride for the last major kickout, and on this occasion it's Carey once again, and he restores Scotstown back into the lead in the game, and it's I suppose the next 6-7 minutes is going to be a pressure zone where Scotstown are going to seek to get that advantage, and True, on the other hand, are hoping to survive and set up a platform in which they can approach the last quarter of the game being in close contention.
So Caelan McGee setting up again for the kick out. Drives it long towards the centre of the field, and the tussle, Scotstown get the break again. Very little high catching in the middle of the field from the restarts, Paddy, and a lot of loose ball around the middle. But it's maybe it's tactical that breaking the ball like that.
Yeah, a lot of spying going on in the middle of the field. Players, I suppose, quite happy to break the ball and hope for the best under the breaking ball. One of the, I suppose, the True defence can be, I suppose, accused of being robust there, but certainly holding their ground and winning there the line ball. As John McCarran comes out with the ball here, Jordan looks for Ryan Mohan. Ryan calmly taking the ball infield. He's carrying nicely here. He seeks brother Gary. Gary is very close to the sideline. He wasn't out over by any means. And again, this time it's the Scotstown players who showed that slight bit of indiscipline. No messing at all whatsoever. He'd make a great school teacher, this referee. He takes, the slightest hint of a little bit of disagreement from players on either team means that the ball gets carried in. And it's Gary Mohan. Gary just finds that he could do those all day, and we're back on terms again.
Yes, of course, Gary restoring parity, and Rory Began with the restart again. And it's this time it's Paul Sherlock who's unmarked in the middle of the field. Well picked out by Rory, but through getting back well behind the ball, Donald Morgan lays it off to Brenton Boylan, who has a look up. Conor McCarthy. Right-footed in towards Shane Carey. Shane trying to win it at the second attempt, holds on to the ball, and Ross McKenna's the loose man out on the side of the field. Steps inside, looking for a bit of support. Jamie McCary with a left-footed kick, spreading the play all the way over to Jack McDevitt. It's actually Michael Meehan on the ball. And Michael carrying it forward, looking for the run inside. And that's a good run inside by Paul Sherlock. Steps inside, has a shot, and rifles the ball over the bar. Probably a sniff of a goal, but they'll be happy enough with a point, Paddy.
Yeah, I think Scotstown using the extra man to good advantage there. Players, the ball is beautifully spread by Jimmy McCary across the field, changed the entire direction of play. And, there's a man over, and it's difficult enough sometimes to use it with good effect. Scotstown on that occasion used it with very good effect and creating the opportunity and creating the chance to go 1 point ahead. The scoreboard reads here 13 to Scotstown, a goal and 9 to Truagh.
So Killan McGee with a kick out. Finds his man well on the far side, and the mark taken, but plays on. And a great ball out. It would have been a good ball if it had worked, Paddy.
Yeah, there was just Christopher McKenna. There was a bit of length, and it was unreasonable, I suppose, to expect the running halfback to make up that sort of ground in time. And again, it's back with Scotstown here. Rory again keen to set up the attacks, and the time slipping on through. Reasonably happy that we're weathering this black card break, and Niall McQuillan will soon be itching to get back into the fray.
Yeah, probably just around. Just over halfway through his sin bin period. Martin McNally judging that Matty Maguire had a little tug on the jersey there in that build-up, and through restart the game as Cormac McKenna on the ball. And ball being carried forward by Christopher McKenna. Has a look up, plays the ball to Niall Rooney. Niall having a look at the posts, swings the right foot at it. That's a great effort, and it's a fine score again from Niall Rooney.
Yeah, Niall is having a wonderful second half here, having a huge effect on the game. And we talked just about how influential Darren Hughes was in the first half. Niall Rooney really both setting up, and that's his second point. And it was a beauty. It was taken from distance, but confidence is high with Niall right now. And we're back into 13 points and a goal and 10.
Nothing separating these teams at the minute, and it's Brenton Boylan plays the ball inside to Jack McDevitt. Paul Sherlock with a bit of room in front of him, carries the ball forward, lays it off to Ross McKenna. Ross looking for Darren Hughes. Darren sets off with a solo, and momentarily stopped there by Truagh, but Darren retrieves the ball again, and it's back with Jack McDevitt. We're on the halfway line, and there's a lot of bodies between Jack and the goals. Jack carrying the ball on, and Truagh weathering this period well. Matty Maguire looking for the ball again. Truagh man down on the ball. It's a bit of a scramble around there, and free out to Truagh. They done very well there, Paddy. They weathered that storm and done well to get on the ball again.
Yeah, the late Michael O'Hare used to talk about the schmuzzle. There was a few schmuzzles there. The ball breaking loose, a bit of dirty ball, and Adam Traynor sends the ball in to Mohan. Ryan Mohan it is on this occasion. He has a couple of men with him. Ryan looking for his first score of the game. He takes this shot. Oh! Important score for Truth, that going from I suppose breaking up an attack to the counter attack, and Ryan was cool as a cucumber once more, and yeah, that's a Truth back in front.
Just goes to show the importance of winning the dirty ball. In the nasty ball has to be won too, and that just proves the proof in the pudding, and turning over and coming down and scoring the ball. But it's Ross McKenna deep in his own half, carrying the ball forward, and Shane Carey steps inside. Adam Traynor, and I suppose that really was an attacker's tackle when he was easily sidestepped, but Shane plays the ball out to the far side to Brenton Boylan. Brenton Boylan out to Matty Maguire. Matty looking to get into the scoring zone, and Jamie McCary waiting on the ball, and through Niall Rooney nips in before him, and you just can't wait on the ball. Gary Mohan looking to come in on his favourite right foot, has a look at the posts again, but Darren Hughes in with a very important block, and Jack McDevitt carrying the ball forward, looking for the runner. Gavin McPhillips getting away from the tackle of John McKenna, robustly tackled, and John was in like a terrier on him there, but Gavin doing well to hold on to the ball. Brenton Boylan in possession now, and Jamie McCary lays it off to Paul Sherlock, and Paul Sherlock looking to take on Niall Rooney. Lays it off to Matty Maguire over on the far side. And Matty steps back in and assesses his options. Plays it back to Paul Sherlock, who switches the play. And it's Damien McArdle on this side of the field. Looking to see who's running. Jack McDevitt in two mains where to go, but Brenton Bylan offers the support and is back in to the centre to the unmarked Darren Hughes. Darren sets off on one of his runs. Very hard to defend when he's running at pace. Takes the ball in to Matty Maguire, who has a look at the post. But that ball tailing off to the side, and that goes wide, and the referee indicating a water break again. And I'm sure we'll be very close to the reintroduction of Niall McQuillan again.
Yeah, Niall's readying himself here. I suppose we're in for the water break. Certainly, this is going to be a test of fitness for the last quarter of the game. Both teams have given huge effort, both particularly in defence, and the manner in which both defences have been snuffing down the players really exhibited very well there in the last 5 minutes. Great defending by the True players setting up a score, and again Darren Hughes back on hand to stop Gary Mohan as he ventured forward and having a pot at the point. So I think that's going to be really important. Both defences have held out, if you like. Scores are hard to come by. Fine scoring throughout the game here. For those of you at home, this really is an entertaining game of football, and the standard of the football is particularly high here at the moment. A lot more direct football than there was in the first half. Both teams trying to break through, and every time they get a chance to take their scores, they're able to do so. I suppose True have been very economical. A lot of, I suppose, what you'd call not so many chances, but those chances were very well taken. The likes of Ryan Mohan and in particular Rooney there in that last quarter had a big influence in the game.
Yeah, so True doing well in the period when they were down a player. They overturned it. They were a point down whenever Niall McQuillan was black carded, and they find themselves when he's coming on again now that they're indeed a point up. So it's Scotstown 13 points and it's 111 to True. All to play for, as you say, Paddy, in this last quarter of the game. So Colin McGrory coming in for Porrick trainer. Tactical change, a fresh set of legs maybe, and a bit of experience from Colin McGrory coming in again, Paddy.
Yeah, Colin, I suppose he's the godfather here, and Minnie, as he's known, he's been sent in there to see if he can come up with that magic score or two that he's so well able to do. A great man also to hold the ball up in the forward line, but Porrick had given it all in the middle of the field and will certainly leave a hole to be filled, and we look forward to seeing how that will emerge.
So Troop winning the ball, and it's McCrory's first touch on the ball, but unable to hold the ball when Brenton Bylan dives in bravely and retrieves pressure. Plays it over to the far side to Rory Began. And Rory setting up the play patiently again. It's Donald Morgan on the ball on his own 45. Looking for a bit of support and looking for a run. Content to carry the ball on. And Brenton Bylan getting the ball. And it's Michael Meehan on the ball. Looking for a bit of support again. Plays it over to the side to Donald Morgan. No great movement ahead of Donald, so he turns back and comes back towards Jack McDevitt. Jack driving through the middle of the field. Nobody going near him yet. And he's made some ground. Shane Carey coming running in support. A lot of Troop bodies in front of him. They swallow him up, and Shane loses the ball, and Troop come back out again, and it's Gary Mohan feeding the ball off, and Troop are breaking at speed here. They're moving ahead now to the 45. And it's Niall Rooney has a go again, and that's another fine effort from Niall Rooney, but it just tails off to the right. It looked good from here, Paddy, but it just dropped off at the end.
Yeah, it just needed an extra wee drop of holy water on it, that one, to direct it a little bit between the posts. But I suppose the most impressive thing from a True perspective was that breakdown in the half-back line and be able to choke out the attack. And I think that's a pattern we're going to fall into between now and to the end of the game. think for those who are watching from home here and wondering, well, what's going on and what's it like to be there, etc., the entertainment value is high and the excitement is high. And a wee sense of normality that Gaelic games are back in action and that we're out to see a match that really counts for something.
So Scotstown on the ball again. They're trailing by a single point. It's 13 points to Truth's 111. And it's Jack McDevitt carrying the ball into contact. Donny Morgan being tackled there by number 12, Ryan Mohan. Donald thought it was unfairly, but the referee, Martin McNally, deems it to be a fair challenge, and he overcarried the ball. And it's Damien McArdle on Gary Mohan. Gary stepping inside again. Niall Rooney, will he have another go? There's plenty of room in front of him. Yes, he does indeed swing the right foot, and that's another fine score from Niall Rooney.
Yeah, Rooney was again the marksman there, and he took a score really well. But the credit has to go to Ryan Mohan. He was the man who made the interception, won back the possession, did the turnover, all the dirty work again that stage coming from Ryan Mohan. And for the first time in the game, True have gone a second point up.
So Brenton Boylan carrying the ball forward for Scotstown, steps inside again. Support offered by Conor McCarthy, who plays it left-footed in towards Matty Maguire, makes a good run, plays it off to Darren Hughes, and Darren Hughes is in. This could be dangerous. And a great stop there by Caelan McGee, really, and that you were on about the one-on-one earlier on and the importance of being able to take that chance, and Caelan McGee doing really well there.
Yeah, that was a let off for True, but for the second time in the game, it was the imposing figure of McGee coming out that probably defended the True net, and Darren Hughes somewhat frustrated there because he had done all the hard work. He had got round the players inside, and I think to be fair to Hughes, he certainly could be forgiven if the energy was starting to seep because he had done a really hard burst of speed there to get through. But again, Caelan McGee stood up, held his ground, and has kept True in the game.
So change for Scotstown. Kieran Hughes is onto the field here instead of Gavin McPhillips. And the referee wants to speak to somebody. He's calling Darren Hughes towards him. Just trying to see who was going off there. I missed that now, but Martin McNally, the referee, didn't seem to miss it, and he's having words with Darren Hughes, and it's a yellow card for Darren Hughes, the first card for Scotstown. So Scotstown will be looking for big things out of Kieran Hughes now to try and dig themselves out of this game, Paddy.
Yeah, I suppose this is a moment that the Troop boys knew was coming, was Kieran Hughes' introduction to the game. He's coming in right in on top of Niall McQuillan at the full back line. And yeah, it's certainly Scotstown playing the ace card here and everything to play for going into the last 10 minutes of the game.
So Paul Sherlock on the far side, carrying the ball up the line, plays it back out towards Conor McCarthy, fists it into Shane Carey, wins the ball, back to McCarthy, or the fella they call Sesk. Niall McQuillan and Kieran Hughes getting to know each other on the far side of the field there, but we'll follow the play, and it's Conor McCarthy. Steps inside. And things getting a little heated, and Conor McCarthy buying a free there. Perhaps there was a bit of a tussle with himself and Christopher McAnally. Seemed to be a wee bit 50-50, but the referee deciding that Conor McCarthy was indeed fouled, and it's a free into Scotstown. The referee just in talks with his linesman over here. There was a wee tussle on the far side, and he's going out to talk to his linesman using all his officials, and doesn't seem to be taking any action just at the moment. Calling Kieran Hughes in. And if it's a yellow card for Niall McQuillan, and Niall will be in bad territory after getting the black card earlier, if it's going to be, and usually is 2 yellows in this case, isn't it, Paddy?
Yeah, certainly it looks as though that is the case. Scotstown men, I think, keen to point out that that's the second time, sorry, it's a black and a follow-on yellow for Niall McQuillan. Martin McNally, an element of confusion. Charlie Redmond-esque here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is Dan McQuellen who's departing the scene. Referee Owen McNally bringing the referee's attention to some sort of hanky-panky that was going on down that far side of the field. I think Shane Carey thought that he got the advantage to move in there to where the referee is standing. Wasn't the case. He has it now, and yeah, McNally brings the player in, and this is a chance for Scotstown to reduce the deficit to a minimal.
Yeah, so just in around 26 or 27 minutes gone here, and Shane Carey brings Scotstown within a point, and Niall McQuellen will probably be disappointed with himself getting drawn into that, especially when he was on walking the thin line, as it were, Paddy.
Yeah, it was kind of predictable, and I suppose he was a vulnerability in the true defence there, having been on the black card, and it's going to leave Troop with a mountain to climb now to close out this game, because Kieran Hughes is a formidable extra player to have now, but de facto being brought on, and you can see the gaps opening up here for the Scotstown players from the kickouts, and it's really from the kickouts you do see where extra men can be of vital importance, as McGee sends it out into a bundle of players, and Gary Moan it was at time who was coming in hard and adjudged to have fouled.
Darren Hughes making the burst for the ball, and just kind of clipped by Gary Mohan. Shane Carey playing the ball off to Kieran Hughes. Kieran hands to toes, looking to take on his man. Running in towards the corner, needs some support out behind him, and it comes in the shape of Francis Maguire, who came on there as well. Jamie McCary back towards Brendan Bylan. It's the first time we've seen Rory Beggan so far out. He's out on the halfway line at the minute, and he's going to join into the play here, and maybe Donald Morgan playing it towards Jack McDevitt. And Scotstown, Francis Maguire retrieving the ball again. Thinks about the shot, but leaves the ball into Ryan O'Toole, who steps inside with his right foot and draws the team's level again. Now it's Troop 112 and Scotstown 15 points, and it's hard to call it at this stage, Paddy.
Yeah, well, certainly, I suppose it's Scotstown with the edge, having the man up, and I suppose the fresh legs coming in there as well, through making quick changes and trying to reorganise. Important not to have a sense of panic, because when they were down to 14 before, they kept the cool. See, John Traynor has arrived into the fray wearing number 26. I'm not quite sure who's leaving us, but John's certainly in. It's Aaron Moan reversing towards us here. I think Aaron's still on, I believe, and we'll see who John is replacing.
So it's through coming out with the ball, and just in the middle of all that, they've indicated that there's going to be at least 5 additional minutes at the end of the time here now. The long ball played in, and this Rory Beggan slips but regains his foot in sufficient time to be able to recover, and lays the ball off to Damien McCardle, who resets Paul Sherlock on his way, and Kieran Hughes coming out of the pitch, looking to stamp a bit of an influence on the game, and Kieran plays it left-footed towards the centre to Damien McCardle. And Damien coming soloing up. Plays it inside to Conor McCarthy. A support run coming from Michael Meehan. Michael lays it off to Kieran Hughes. Kieran carrying it forward under the attention of Christopher McKenna. And the ball's with Shane Carey. Scotstown enjoying a period of possession here, but gaining no real territory with it. They've just been patient in their pickup, in their build-up play. And Shane Carey plays it back to Jamie McCary. Jamie lays it off to Conor McCarthy. And Conor McCarthy, 1-2 with Paul Sherlock. And McCarthy looks at the posts, and it's a magnificent score. And it's a score that was on par with those from Niall Rooney and James McKenna in the first half.
Yeah, that was a fantastic piece of build-up play. McCarthy involved in the 1-2 and was all eyes on it there. You could see the gap emerging for him, and he just turned on that sixpence and scored. And put Scotstown point up. True will be doing very well to recover from here, given the deficit. But they've showed great resilience throughout the game. Christopher McKenna was that time slipping and fumbling, and eventually it's Scotstown coming back downfield and probably have an opportunity here to confirm their dominance.
And it's Paul Sherlock breaking free on the far side, looking for McCarthy again. McCarthy on the ball again. He'd be looking to impose a bit of his dominance on the game now. Steps inside, still on the ball. Unlucky enough perhaps to win a free there. He seemed to be going to ground anyway, and maybe just invited the wee nudge that convinced the referee to blow his whistle, Paddy.
Yeah, we've had tougher ones throughout the afternoon, I suppose, on both sides given, but it gives Scotstown, I suppose, at a late stage here now, and Shane Carey with a reliable foot the chance to kneel on. I suppose maybe it could be a final score of the game. Scotstown at the moment are leading 16 to a goal and 12. The entertainment value has been terrific throughout in the game, and Troop will maybe have one opportunity or so to counter here before referee McNally draws proceedings to a close.
So Shane Carey making sure from the free kick from the 13-metre line. And Caelan McGee getting ready to take the restart again. Looking for a bit of movement. Of course, remember that Truagh are the man down, so it's going to be hard enough to pick out a man. Conor McCarthy putting pressure on the kick and forcing the Truagh man into the error or putting the ball out over the line. And it's Conor McCarthy on the ball. Plays it infield to Darren Hughes. Darren looking for a run. Nothing coming yet, so Conor McCarthy plays it back out to Donal Morgan. And Bender playing the ball out towards Damien McCardle. He has support from Jamie McCary out in the far wing. Scotstown, I suppose, have the luxury of having a wee bit of breathing space and can be patient at this time of the game. Content to play the ball over and back to Donal Morgan to Darren Hughes, and it's up to Truagh to come and come at them, Paddy.
Yeah, well, I suppose the tactics that lasted for most of this game here are now redundant because there's no point in sitting back. Probably better to lose by 5 than to lose by 2. And as we go into, I suppose, the dying seconds of the game, one suspects that Scotstown's ability to knock it around like this here will kill the game off nicely.
So still in possession here now is Ross McKenna. Fisted out towards Conor McCarthy out on the near side of the pitch here. Steps inside onto his favourite left foot, has a look at the posts. Just not going to convert that one, but the ball's not out of play yet. It's Jamie McCary underneath it. And the ball goes wide, and another chance for Truagh to get into it. Really, if they have one good attack, there's only 2 points in it. You never know what can happen.
Well, I noticed manager Lawrence Strain there directing Christopher McKenna to get in on the edge of the square. He's probably hoping that drop of holy water will pay dividends later on, and that maybe one final opportunity. That's not to be. The game is now over. Fantastic game of football here at Scotstown. Both teams to be lauded on producing such wonderful entertainment after a barren period. And Scotstown, it is the victors. They will feel very confident going into the next rounds of this group. Truagh will have to regroup quickly. There's no room for error in this group here. And the next game, as they come, will be very, very important. But as we finish here in Scotstown, it's 17 points to Anva, a goal and 12 to Gaeltruagh.
Yeah, as you say, it's not the end of the road for Truagh. With the league setup that we have here, the quite a few positives for them coming out of this, Paddy, and going forward into the next games. It's going to take a couple of losses to really rule you out of the championship this year with the way it is. So all's not lost. Some good performances there from Truagh. Niall Rooney walking over towards us here. He had some exceptional scores and something to build on. It's positive as well, Paddy.
Yeah, well, there's no such thing, I suppose, as a moral victory in championship football. But yeah, Truagh would be reassured, I suppose, that they did stick to their game plan. They held it for most of the match, and it was only in those dying minutes when they did go a man down that you could see that advantage slipping, or not the advantage, but their ability to hold out slipping away. But a good performance here this evening from them. But you don't have that much room to start slipping in another game after this one here. Scotstown, on the other hand, they've got that comfort blanket now of a win under their belt. I think they'll be confident. I think the fact that Kieran Hughes came into good effect late on in the game, they know that they have a range of options there that will be very useful as they progress in the championship.
Yeah, I suppose a good few positives for Scotstown too. The championship debut from Gavin McPhillips, who had a good run while he was on, and a good start to his senior football campaign. And some of the other younger players, Matty Maguire, been used to good effect too. But I suppose it really turned down to the season campaigners of Darren Hughes and Donal Morgan and Shane Carey and McCarthy that helped them get over the line.
Yeah, they dug into that experience. I think the important point you made, Frankie, is it was a good evening for young lads. The young lads in both teams got their chance. And you'd have to say that Gavin McPhillips and co, yeah, a big influence in the game right throughout. You had, I suppose, Gary Moan, Cian Maguire. His first game lasted the game, was solid, and made a few important interventions as he went through there. Panels now just sort of heading back. Of course, I was going to say heading back to the dressing rooms, but that's not even possible anymore. It's just
Back to the cars.
we're back to the 60s. Get into the car if you have one and get home. So from that, I think it's good night from us here in Scotstown, Frankie.
Yes, Paddy, I've just been reminded by our treasurer to make sure and plug our Kishta draw that's on tonight. So if you haven't bought a ticket, and Paddy will get you sorted out with one before you leave the grounds. So we've a lot of catching up to do on Francie Becken when he was about coming up here selling lottos and whatnot. But yes, the Kishta draw is on tonight. And don't forget, you can also subscribe to our Club Lotto online as well. So, and just before we sign off, just keep an eye on our social media feeds, and hopefully we'll be in a position to do some more streaming of our games while the restrictions on crowds are going ahead, and possibly something that we can look towards the future. So it's goodbye from us here in Park Wirra, Scotstown. Thanks very much for Paddy for coming along and sharing his experience with us. Hope you all enjoyed it, and we'll talk to you again soon.